Welcome back to Six Ashes for episode 9 with me, MrSealyp. 21 minutes past 11. I have fertilised my field here, which is now being cultivated. As per usual, thank you again to the whole community. I got so overexcited in the last episode about buying my own little bit of heaven. My farm area. What I failed to notice was in buying this plot here with field 41, I also bought field 26, 27 and 24 as part of that around my honeypot allotment. That one is cultivated. Actually, let's have a look. Fully fertilised though. That one's cultivated. That one had sugar beet in it but is withered. So I've inherited a withered field, and that one has got sunflower in, which is actually growing. So I'm going to have to go out and I'm going to cultivate that one. Then I'll give it a bit of a fertilising. But if I go L1 and options, if we go into our planting window, like I said before, the only thing I can plant now is oilseed radish, poplar and grass. So I can't actually put anything in my new fields, but I do own some fields. They are mine now, which is absolutely fantastic. That being said, I have been tipped the wink by Stephen. Stephen's secret field that he's prepared to sell to me. Now, as you've already seen, I did a couple more fertilising contracts. So what I'm going to do now is head up there. We'll check it out. Whoa. Whoa, this is bumpy. We'll check it out. If we're happy with it, I'm going to buy it. Because what also dawned on me, there was me saying, oh, I've got no jobs to do, anything like that. I have the first constituent part to making Telmix ration, which is silage. I've got loads of silage bales. I've got no hay. My grass fields that I cut for doing silage bales are regrowing, but I need some more grass. Now, I have got a bit around the fields I've just bought, or the fields I bought without realising I bought, and there's a couple of gardens still that I can do. And if I look at the weather forecast, that was the other thing I was going to check. If I go into the seasons menu again and go across the weather forecast, all the rest of today and tomorrow, Tuesday, all the way through Wednesday's a little bit overcast, but we've got sunshine. So potentially, if I cut the grass now and leave it out, we should have hay in the next 24 hours or so. In which case, I'll windrow it, bale it, we'll collect it up, and we'll put it into storage. I can't do straw yet. I mean, I could make Telmix ration just with those two constituent parts, but I will wait until I've got straw, which I won't be able to do until we get into harvest season, and potentially do some contracts for people that have got wheat, barley or oat fields. Once I've got that in place, then I can start making Telmix ration. We're going to come back up to here in a minute, well, in a little while. Then I can start making Telmix ration and we can sell it, because I don't have cows yet, but the livestock market buys Telmix ration at a very good price. As you can see, our field there is growing again, but it's going to take a little while until we can get to second cut, and potentially by then the weather might have turned a little bit, and I don't know if we're going to have as good drying weather. Now there's verges and stuff I could cut as well. I could cut all that and leave that to turn to hay. There's absolutely no reason why not. I'm just trying to, I have been kind of, as I've been driving around doing different contracts, looking around for other people's yards and gardens I could potentially go and cut. You can see all the bits where I did cut, and it's all starting to regrow. Now I think it's up here. I think access to it isn't from the main road. I'm pretty sure it's off here. I thought I'd bring the mower with me because it seems pointless going, realising actually yes I can do that. Yeah, here we are. And then have to go all the way back for the mower. That would be ridiculous. And it's not too expensive either. Stephen's secret field. Right, it's this one here. Oh, okay. There's a few bushes and stuff in it. But that might not be a problem. Let's hop out. There's grass in it. At the end of the day, that's, you know, that's... I suppose I can always come out and try and get rid of some of these. I know a lot of people are reporting that some of these are very difficult to get rid of. because they kind of, the roots go very deep into the ground. But it's a grass field. Where are we then? Well, we came up our little lane, up past the stables, round the bend here, and it's this farm here, it's field here, it's not numbered. It's not on there. And I assumed, again, it was one of those ones you buy one field, or you buy a farm, or you buy the livery stables, and it kind of gets caught up in all that. But it's not. It's a separate field. Look, 23,060. So, you know what? For the fact that we'll be able to use it and we'll be able to make some hay on it, why not? Makes perfect sense. So I'm going to go around. We're going to cut this. We'll leave that to turn to hay. I will then off camera whiz around, do a few more verges and some gardens if I can, because I just completely went out of my head because I did a lot of baling. I thought I don't want to keep doing baling, people are going to get fed up with that, but not remembering I'm on seasons, I'm doing seasonal work, I need to get some hay on the go. I don't say I need to, I don't need to, like I say, I'm not running cows, but if I do want to make feed for the livestock, then I do need to make hay. I will cut as much as I can. So I'm pretty sure some of these bushes aren't ones that are easily avoidable. I'm pretty sure they're ones that are caught up with kind of tree roots. If you've caught any, you'll know what I mean. So at the moment what we're cutting is dry grass. It doesn't need to be tedded. If it was wet grass we'd need to ted it to get dry grass, but it is dry grass, so that's all good. But then that needs to be left in the sun to make hay, which is completely different to the base game. Base game, cut it, you get grass, ted it, you get hay. With seasons, that's not the case. We start off with either wet or dry grass. If it's wet, we ted it to get dry grass, as I've all done. I know I'm just repeating myself, but I know there'll be people watching that haven't played seasons or are new to the game and don't realise this. Now that texture is the hay texture that we normally have in the base game, but obviously with seasons there's an extra step in this, and the hay texture is much lighter, so this will now need to be left in the sun and the warm breeze, and then that will go lighter, hopefully not for too long, and hopefully we don't get any rain. So if it turns it, or we start to lose any, then the whole process could potentially start again, but we should be alright. And then we'll collect it out. I still don't own a silo, I don't have a silo yet, so I'm going to bale it and we'll put it into storage. I'm not going to do it loose. Ooh. Oh, I didn't even notice that, blimey. From this angle it didn't look like a big lump, but apparently it is. This mower I own. I could have leased another mower, the side one, or I could have leased a butterfly or something like that, but I don't mind whizzing round. I think what we might do after we've done this, I will go and grab the cultivator and sort out that field that's got the withered now. It will let me go over it, that's alright. That's got the withered sugar beet in. And then we may skip ahead. Hopefully tomorrow this will have turned to hay, and then we can bale it and get it collected and stored away. At that point I could make total mix ration. Depending on the mix I was going to do with just silage and hay, I can do total mix ration. Which, if I was desperate to make money, I suppose I am technically, it's because it goes against everything. I'm so used to doing the mix I do with hay, silage and straw. The kind of concept in my head of not using straw is like, what, no, I must use straw. I know I don't have to, but it's weird how my mind's kind of set. This is a result for the price. pleased with this. This can always be one of my grass fields, although I don't think... It doesn't seem... Has he got an edge? Maybe I can fertilise it afterwards. Potentially. It's difficult to tell. Now, a lot of people were saying when we got the batwing mower, people were hoping, because in real life, I know watching Zach and Daniel Farmer using his one, it will cut through some pretty chunky branches and small trees and that kind of thing, that people were hoping it not only would it mow, but it would get rid of hedges, like bushes and stuff like that. I suppose being able to code that to do mowing and that might be a much trickier prospect than just having it as a mower, I suppose. Anywho, probably time for a bit of music and a bit of a time lapse, I guess. That'll do quite nicely. There's a couple of little fiddly bits I could probably pick up around the edges. Which when we come to windrow we can gather up. But other than that, that's good now. We'll leave that. Thank you again, Stephen. Very much appreciated. Let's crack on. Like I say, I will see you in a bit. I'm going to go and get some verges and gardens done. Same, so if I can get it done now, it can already be converted to hay. Again, I don't know why I didn't think of it before. And then we'll get our cultivator up onto our field and we'll get that cultivated and sorted. And then maybe a skip ahead and we should have hay. That's the plan at the moment anyway. Well, what a couple of days. I had some seriously lucrative contracts. Fertiliser on field 8, 20 odd grand. Baling contract, 21, 22 grand. I've been picking up... Now, I got waylaid. I mean, I have to admit, you know what I'm like. I got waylaid. I was on the way back down here. I was going to go up to my new fields and I was going to cultivate and... well, actually it needs ploughing. I was going to cultivate it. But one of my new fields needs sorting out. I did say off camera I was going to go around and cut grass to make hay. That's the other place I got slightly waylaid because I cut everything. I mean, every spare bit of ground that I had access to or I own, I cut. My secret field that I bought yesterday, Part of it has turned to hay, like one strip, but not any more of it. So I'm hoping over the course of today, I'm going to check the weather again now. We're good all day today. Tomorrow says cloudy at the start. Oh, that's at midnight. And then 3 in the morning it's going to rain. So over the course of today, I need all of that grass to turn to hay. I need to bale it. I need to get it put away before the rain comes at 3 in the morning. So fingers crossed, as the temperature warms up a bit, that should work. The other weird thing I'm having is maintenance on vehicles. Hiring or borrowing vehicles off farmers. I'll get partway through a contract and then suddenly look and realise the repair is on like 0. It's on like dropped. It needs maximum repair. This last night was fine. I filled up with fuel because I was pretty low. Got in it this morning. Look how low my repair thing is overnight. That's just sat there. I haven't used it. It's a bit weird. So it needs a bit of repair. Say preventative maintenance, I'm not quite sure really. 334 quid. It's outrageous, isn't it? Anyway, we need to go and get a plough, but it's got to be one that this can pull. And I'm going to sort that field out. I had everything. Turn the engine off, isn't the best idea. I had every intention of just getting on with sorting out all the hay now. I wanted to get it all done. As you can see, you'll see as I go up the road, I've cut every verge. I've done a few other people's lawns. I've done the grass around the garden centre, the petrol station. I've done pretty much every road, every verge, everywhere that I could cut grass I did. Because I thought, at the end of the day, some of the verges were so wide, it almost became like having another field. I drove along the side of a road and thought, I'm going to get a load of bales off that, so why not? Why not cut it? I know it's unsightly, I know, you know, if you were working for the council, you wouldn't leave the grass. I mean, I suppose they do cut the grass. I don't always collect it. At least I'm going to collect it and get it out of the way and put it to good use. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go and grab the plough. We're going to plough out the field. It needs liming. You might have seen that my fertiliser lime spreader has got lime in it. I emptied out the fertiliser pallets, went and grabbed some lime. So it'll be maximum. It doesn't need doing now. It really doesn't. But I need a job to do. As far as my bales go, I've done 2 more baling contracts. One yesterday afternoon, one early this morning. So one of them, the one that gave me these 2 stacks, all the ones I had behind had those stacks. That was baling contract number 2, where I gained 17 bales. This is from baling contract number 3. Baling contract number 3 was 67 bales in total. I delivered 38 of them to fulfil the contract, which left me with 29. So that's those 2 there. Then baling contract number 4 I did early this morning, was only a fairly small field. That yielded 40, no, is it 45? How much did it yield? Got it written down here. 50, no, 35, sorry. That yielded 35 bales, 26 delivered, left me with 9. So I've got quite a lot of silage bales on hand. All the ones at the back, my original bales, are all silage. They're all fermented. That stack on the end isn't quite ready, and obviously these 2 are really fresh. Those are from yesterday and those are from this morning. But I do have a load of silage bales on hand. However, when did the price of silage become so utterly rubbish? I mean, awful. I remember playing on FS19 and on 19 on some maps where the price was really good for a silage bale. I remember doing law folds on FS17. I'm sure at one point they were paying over 2,000 for 1,000 litres of silage. I know that's extremely high. Some maps it's been around 1,000, some just under, some just over. And then all of a sudden we got this situation where I scroll across the biogas plant. I mean, it's usually 360-ish, something like that, which is fairly low anyway. 270. And even the livestock barn is only paying 103 for 1,000 litres of silage. That's ridiculous. If I buy a silage bale, it's 2,200. That's 550 per 1,000. Oh, it's just bonkers, absolutely bonkers money. So yeah, I've got all that silage. sitting there, which in all honesty, it's not going to make me as much money as I thought. So I am now far more down the route of thinking I'm just going to make total mixed ration with it. Oh, I've had a plan as well. Oh, I don't want to give the game away on that. There is a local company. No, I'm not going to give. Sorry, I know I'm not doing it on purpose. I thought I was going to tell you something, but that's going to come in an episode further down the line. Maybe the next episode. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Right. So ploughs. Now, obviously, plough widths are very narrow for the horsepower requirement. I've only got 195 horsepower to play with. There is the obvious choice of going down the route of the subsoiler 6M. 6 metres requires 180 horsepower though. But then I thought, well, you know, I think the biggest I can go to is a 2.5. That one there. For the eye plough. For the horsepower requirement. But then there's on the end, we've got the Lizard Tetra 4. Which only requires 100 horsepower and is 4 metres. So you know what? I think I'm going to go for that. I'm going to leave it there. I don't need to do anything with it. That comes with the T-Rex tree removal stump grinder device. Yeah, that'll be alright. It's not a huge field and it'll do the job. Not overly expensive. The long road that runs back on itself from where we are across the top there, that was another one that as I went along and did all the cutting of verges, that's a long road. And part of it's got a really wide verge. Again, like, as I was driving on thinking, this is equivalent to a field. If I bought a small field, that's what I've just got. You know, I've gone along, as you can see, everywhere. I know it's excessive, I know it's ridiculous. I'm going to buy myself a small baler and I'm going to get a round baler for doing my own bales. Contracts that have been popping up, pretty much every contract I've had for baling, and there are 2 more at the moment. But I'm in danger of maxing out on square bales, silage bales, and they're not having any leeway for making any more. Which I could come into, you know, I could come a cropper when I start baling up all the verges. As soon as it's all turned to hay, of course. At the moment I can't do anything with it, and I don't intend to. We should be able to get a look at. Oh no, I need to turn here, don't I? I say I need to. We won't get a look at the field. I'm hoping as time progresses we'll be alright. Indicator off. Yep, everywhere I could I have cut. Some of the grass was cut from before, so I've left it. Some of those fields can't be far off ready to harvest. We're in midsummer. Actually, when I get out to my field, what I will do... Yeah, I took the cultivator out there, thinking, oh, I'll cultivate it. And when I checked on the map, it does need ploughing and it does need lime. So I thought, well, it's pointless cultivating it, then having to come back and plough it later. I might as well just get on with it. But I did all round the sides of the fields up here as well. Did I become a bit obsessive? Maybe. Thank you for everyone's well wishes for mine and MrSealyp's anniversary on Wednesday. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. We are still going away tomorrow now. Excuse me. On a sort of more watered down, kind of muted version of what we had originally planned for our kind of second honeymoon, which it was. You know, I know I've spoken about it before, but pre-troubles, we had a massive party planned. Like we were going to renew our wedding vows, have loads of, like another wedding really, then go off on a second honeymoon, that kind of thing. That all has obviously fallen by the wayside. We were then going to go away and stay in the hotel up in the Lake District for the week. That's all fallen by the wayside because of what the hotel is allowed to offer and can offer. We just said it seemed a lot of money when you kind of, I know it sounds ridiculous, you don't gain the hotel experience from it. It would just be like staying in a, you know, motel, really, more than anything else. So we're going to our favourite place. We're going back to the barn. where we always go. Lovely Sarah that runs it with her husband has said we can have the barn, so we're going to do that. And yeah, so we are going away. So thank you to everyone. Oh, I didn't put this on. This is a allow crate fields, is it? No. So as you can see all around the side of here, I'm hoping as I'm going around, as the time's ticking on, and the temperature warms up a bit, the temperature warms up a bit, all of a sudden it's all going to suddenly turn to hay, and then I can just get out, grab myself a new baler, because I've got the money to do that now, grab a baler, and get the hay done. Because then, like I said, I'm hoping when we get into harvest season, if I can get a few harvest contracts, and realistically I'm not even going to be doing the harvest contracts for the product, which is what I normally do, because I don't own a silo. I've got to be careful when I lose grass here if I go too close to what I've cut. Yeah, what I'm actually doing it for, I'm looking for wheat, barley and oat contracts for the swaths, because although the method that Terry suggested didn't work on Stone Valley because I wasn't running the seasons, apparently it should work with seasons. So we'll give it a go, and that's another reason, you know, checking out what I can do on seasons, what can be done on seasons. Are some of the things you can do and can get away with a little bit near the mark, a little bit bordering on nefarious? Maybe. So I'm wondering, oh no I can't, I was going to say fertilise it, I'll put lime in the fertiliser. I'll come out and lime it. I might at some point. I'm just trying to think, if I lime it, will it let me fertilise over the top? I'm trying to think. Possibly. Yeah, it should do. So then it's ready to go when we get around to next season, or we get into planting. I could maybe put in a winter crop, possibly get away with it, depends how cold it gets. I don't want it. I mean, at the end of the day it'll be a test. Regardless, even if I put a crop in over the winter and it fails, if it doesn't germinate, and it's a lesson learned, and I can go, okay, well I gave it a go. If it does all work, great, I've got crops, I've got a potential spring. I mean, that doesn't often happen. Even when you do a winter crop, you think, okay, I'll be able to harvest in spring. Generally speaking, it still ends up being summer before you can harvest it anyway. Although Farmer Foley messaged me to let me know that he's been running a farm in this area too, and the locals weren't so keen to give him any harvesting work, if you know what I mean. That's a bit of a worry if we don't get any harvesting contracts come up. But if we don't. As we crawl along here, what I'll do is just show you what we're at the moment. Fertilising, baling, more fertilising, and then there's some cultivation at the bottom. So loads of fertilising jobs, 2 big baling jobs there. But again, I've got so many silage bales on hand. You know what I'm like though. I'll get these jobs done and I'll think, I can either twiddle my thumbs, I could speed up time through to the next day, or I could take on another contract. So with my money that I've built up, I'm definitely getting myself a baler. I'm now thinking I'm not going to need a seeder until potentially autumn. Again, what I'm going to do, I'll just stop there a second. If I open up that menu, go to there. Yeah, if we look across to autumn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, we could, depending on the temperatures, ground temps, we could get wheat, barley, oats, canola, maybe canola in the ground. So we could get some winter crops in, which, considering I've now got or potentially harvest of my own sunflower. So I've got these 3 fields here, and well, the grass fields I'm going to leave as grass. I'm not going to plough those out. But I've also got, is it field 41 down by the pig farm? So potentially I could get some crops in. I don't know, we'll see. It's all ideas at the moment. I'm going to carry on, get this ploughed out. I'll go whiz back, grab the lime, the lime spreader, or the fertiliser / lime spreader. The spreader. I'll go and grab the spreader, and then hopefully we'll be at a point where the hay will be ready. If not all of it, then at least what I did up at the secret field. I'm going to keep calling that. It doesn't have a number. It has no designation. Normally I add an A or something on. If it's next to a field with a number, I'll call it field whatever A. But no, it's going to stay as the secret field. As long as you don't tell anyone about it, it will stay a secret. Back at the farm. I have been up to the store. I don't know if you recall or whether I even said it, but when I've got the front loader initially, I leased it by accident rather than buying it. So what I've done now is replaced it. I've bought one. I've also got myself a bucket, because the other thing that dawned on me, up at Honeypot Allotments, which is where we're heading up to anyway, with the lime spreader behind me. Oh. I haven't put any manure or water into the greenhouses in ages. So I thought what I'll do, I'll grab myself a bucket, because I'm going to need one at some point anyway. For the front loader, I'll get some manure in there, we'll get the lime going. The grass still hasn't turned. I'm baffled. When I did Sussex Farms and I did all the testing and it all worked no problem at all, I did have a lot of people saying you need to windrow it, then it will work. I had a lot of people saying don't windrow it, leave it. Now I did both, and in both situations it worked perfectly. It turned to hay, no problem at all. Just caught my cable. It turned no problem at all. It depends on the weather, it depends on the wind, the heat, all sorts of stuff as to when it will turn. But what I don't get is how yesterday one strip round the secret field turned, and it's been another 15 hours if not more since then, and nothing else anywhere that I cut, even the rest of that field, has turned. Unless of course after that first bit turned the temperature started to drop a little bit and it was too cold or too damp, or potentially. So I'm at the mercy of the weather, which, you know, that's the point and purpose of seasons, isn't it? To add that realism in, to add that aspect of, you know what, you are at the mercy of Mother Nature, of, you know, you can plan and do everything, but you can still get caught out, you can still have problems. What I will do is, let's just drop that there behind me. Don't know how much I've got. Weirdly, so there's some on the floor. Bucket's driving me mad. Yeah, there's some on the floor. Oh, there is some in it. I can see it. It's a little bit around the sides. It's very weird. Normally you get that thing come up saying it's full, it won't take any more, that kind of thing. But for some reason, this one seemed to overfill the last time I did it. Right, let's get some out of my pile. Whoa. Question is, am I close enough? There we go. It doesn't pay out a huge amount here at the allotments, but it pays out enough. That will do. What I think I'll do is leave the bucket here, because I'm not going to need it anytime soon. And then what we'll do is top up the water as well while we're here. think we're right for water. Yes, we are. I'll do a loop round. It's obviously not taking anywhere near as much as I thought it was, but it's topped up. That's at the end of the day. It needed doing. At least I now know it's been done. Leave that there, and on to the liming. Time is racing away. Where I get to the end and realise how much I've actually missed of the field, but I can always come back and tidy up. Assuming of course I actually managed to cover the whole field. You know what? That wasn't too bad actually. That was a pretty good point. Getting lime all over the grass probably doesn't help, does it? At least it'll be good to go for whenever I need to. It's not going to be I'll get a planting window and then panic and have to spend ages sorting everything out while I've got the downtime. Might as well do it. I say downtime, it's not downtime, is it? Because I'm still working. Nearly 10 o'clock. Come on, grass. Just turn, will you? I have to go up and check the secret field. I didn't do too bad on that first pass round. I wasn't sure I'd done it, but it was alright. Done worse. That massive pile of manure that you can see sitting down up against the concrete, that was from the previous owners when it was all set up for the test map and the map tour, and I wanted to make sure everything worked. A huge trailer load of manure was dumped there, which I completely forgot about until I bought the pig farm and owned this land, and they came up past there and thought, oh, okay. So what we'll do when we get to a point where if we need some of that, we will buy it, rather than just take it as, oh, it's on my land, I'm going to have that. I will buy it, so some money will go out of the account to cover the cost of it. It's only right. Here, come and tidy some up. I was really hoping to get some hay done. I'm seriously toying with getting a second tractor, a little cheap, small, something a little bit fun. You probably know if you watch my mod reviews what I'm talking about. For doing jobs like this, because of all the fertilising jobs and liming, the horsepower requirement... Actually, what is the horsepower requirement for this? This is under fertiliser technology. There is no horsepower requirement, so any tractor will pull it. I mean, obviously it might struggle on hills and stuff like that. It does run off a PTO, which is interesting. So I'm thinking, yeah, for doing jobs like this, for fertilising and lime spreading, just having a little tractor that can do that, which means I can then be doing other jobs with my second tractor possibly speak to someone down the pub. I haven't been down the pub in ages. I'm so busy. See if anyone's available to do a bit of... I know it's mad, isn't it? I've got to that point. A bit of hired help, hired worker, contracting work for me, considering I took on the job of doing local contracting job for the local farmers and trying to build up what I've got. I'm at a point now where I might need to actually hire somebody to help me. Local entrepreneur. Well, that might be taking a little bit too far. Still, 10:15. That's done. So what I need to do now, I didn't use anywhere near as much lime as I thought I was going to. I need to empty the lime out, put fertiliser back in, we'll come back and we'll give it a bit of a squirt with the fertiliser. Yeah, it's 41, isn't it? Because if I go across one, soil composition, we are now ploughed and we are limed, so that's good. We've got one fertilising state on here. I'm just thinking, because I've limed, I might get away with sticking another fertilising state on. Potentially. Now, is it worthwhile we're out and about whizzing up to have a look at the secret build? I'm just worried as well, the longer the grass stays out, I'm going to start losing grass. It will start to deteriorate. I know you get a bit longer on 19 than you used to on 17. I know on 17 at midnight you just lost half of whatever was out anyway. But I think because the situation now with having grass needing to turn to hay, you've got a bit more leeway, but this is really frustrating about this hay situation. Temperature now is 13 degrees. Ground temp's 12. Temperature is coming up. I'm hoping maybe just past lunchtime, maybe it'll be warm enough that everything will turn a little bit. If nothing else, we'll get to have a look at, unless it has all turned to hay, in which case great. So there's a little bit of hay there on the been left on the ground. Yeah, you'll be able to see what I mean about it being one bit's okay and the rest isn't, which is bizarre. But we are getting jobs done, we are moving through the seasons. I mean, honestly, when I was saying about harvesting, realistically, I mean, the whole point of Harvest Festival when I was at school, when I was working at school, not when I was at school, both I suppose, was that thing, it's autumn, isn't it? It's always around autumn time when harvest starts coming. That concept of harvest being in the summer is generally, I mean, some crops will, yeah, look, it is so weird. This one strip from the gate, which is admittedly where I started, up and around, has turned to hay. So that's the difference between the grass cut, the dry grass, and hay. But the rest of the field hasn't. It's so weird. And so annoying. Right, okay. Well, what I'm going to do now, you don't need to worry about seeing this. I'm going to go and... Actually, what I'll do is check the contracts and see if anything else has popped up. No, same stuff that was all there. A couple of baling, still a fertilising one there. I suppose I could pick that up, couldn't I, in field 54. I'm going to go get fertiliser now. Might as well accept contract. So I'm going to go and dump lime out of this. Put the fertiliser back in. Go and do my field, and then I'll do that contract. And then I'll see you... This has got to be done before 3 in the morning. Otherwise it's going to rain. And I do not need that. We're on. We have hay. Although it's just gone 6 o'clock in the evening, I have got a lot of work to get done and get it all moved. But, oh, I bought the new baler. Got the Class Roland 250 Roto Cut. This was supplied through the New Holland dealership by GBModding Industries. 25 grand. Nice and cheap for a round baler. Let's turn it on. Drop it down. I think it only requires 98 horsepower as well, something like that. So pretty good. I'm now going to spend a serious amount of time driving round and round and round, grass verges, edges of fields, everywhere I can. Now, this is where things get a little bit... With the amount of silage bales I've got on hand, I've got a total, I think, of 167 bales if my calculations are correct. Now, oops. If... Oh yeah, everything's done, look, you can see it all on the verges. Which means I might get to 33 bales and it will say I can't make any more. Now, the flip side is, if what people have been telling me is correct, and I'm not sure at the moment, of my original 80 bales, and all it says at the moment now, it's going to say 81, obviously because I'm in a new section, but, oh, yeah, my original bales were 80. Of those original 80, I've only got 15. The rest have been replaced by contract bales, and I was told that contract bales don't show up on your created bales, so you'll be alright, it won't add on to your total. So this is going to be the test as well. When I get to 33 bales, will it come up and say you can't create anymore? In which case I've got a lot of hay I can't do anything with. Or will it just let me keep going and treat them as if they're kind of like bought or ethereal type bales? I don't know how it's going to play out. I am nervous. So we're going to see. But I will do as many as I possibly can. I am considering though, if it won't let me make any more, if we do reach that point and there's an issue, I may have to get a silo. And in my opinion, I mean, there are loads of silos available, but it depends on the map you're on, depends on what style you're looking for. If you're looking for bang for your buck, if you're looking for capacity versus cost, there's only one to go for, and it's still the one I've been using since Marwell Manor, and I use it as often as I possibly can. It's the silo from the Mercury Farm shed pack, supplied and built by Alien Jim. 59 grand. There's a few different ones. Oh, would it pick this up? I shouldn't have actually mowed up there, but it did, that's right. It is a multi-fruit silo, so you can put pretty much anything in it. And there are a few, so you can get the one that will kind of fit your farm style and look and that kind of thing. It's not everyone's cup of tea, not everyone likes them. But I just think I haven't got 200,000, 300,000 to buy a silo. If I want to be able to put grass or hay or forage in, it needs to be a multi-fruit silo, or I could get a multi-fruit extension for a standard silo, but that means buying two separate silos because I don't have a silo at all yet. So it's a tricky one. Is this going to roll? Because if it rolls through a hedge, I'm in trouble. Stay there. No. Yeah, so I don't know where we're going to be at. If I just have a look now, we should be at created bales 3. Yep, so if we hit 33 and it stops, that's when things are going to get a little bit sticky. I will see you in a bit, probably when we get to that number. We'll see how frustrated I am at that point. Unfortunately, as I feared, I've got to 32 bales. I'm on the process of just starting the 33rd, and it's come up. There are too many bales. Please sell some first. So the concept, to turn it off. The concept that maybe that concept works on without seasons. Maybe, I don't know. But the concept that if you do baling contracts, whilst if we look at my created bales, I've got 112 created bales, 32 in this session. So I'm nowhere near my 200, but I have got 200 bales in total with the bales that I've created doing baling contracts. So whilst they're not adding on to my bales, created bales tally, they are still registering as created bales. Of course, some of those stacks are a little bit leaning a little bit. So now I've got a situation where I've got hay all over the map, which I now can't collect. I've either got to get rid of a load of these bales, which means selling them and not making hardly any money on them, in which case you've got to ask yourself, why did I bother? I suppose I could take them to the biogas plant at 900 for 1,000 litres. No, it's not 900 though, is it? That's the one I want. No. It's not 900, is it? It's wood chips that's paying 900. Yeah, 270. That's nothing. That's just over 1,000 per bale. I mean, I've got a few bales there. I would still get a load of money, but nowhere near what I should be earning. Anyway, I now need to give it some thought about what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm thinking now it's going to have to be a silo built, grab a loading wagon and just go around and gather up everything I can, really, and then put it all loose. And then what I'll do, if I need to make bales, or I can make it as salt mix ration from loose, or what I might do, as I've done in the past, spread it out from a trailer or something out of a silo and then bale it if I want to go down the baling route. Yeah, I was so hoping it would go past that 33. I know obviously the coding situation, it's weird though that the whole bought bales thing, I still seem to be hitting that 200 bale limit, which is very odd. I shouldn't be. I'm even considering off screen collecting up the bales that I've just baled, the 32, getting rid of them, I say get rid of them, and then like off screen buying 32 and seeing if it will let me bale again. I don't think it will. I think for some reason it's just still going to be 200 regardless, which is going to force me down the route of loose product. Can't do a lot about that. Anyway, we have come to the end of this episode. Next episode then, potentially silo, potentially into the evening with a loading wagon, collecting up all the hay I need to collect up. Yeah, I need to get onto the phone to Alien Jim, see if he will come out and build a silo for me. I think that's the option I'm going to go for. I know people won't be happy with that because it's not different. I've used it so many times before, but if it's not broken, why fix it? I mean, it's like I said earlier, it works and it's brilliant and the price is great and the capacity is fantastic. I've been through my options in the local catalogue and nothing even comes close, nothing compares, and I just don't have the money to buy anything more expensive at the moment. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.